guys, welcome back to the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Robison, and we've got our co-host, Jessie, today, and we've got Cody, the owner of CO Eyewear, with us for an interview. Cody,
How's
Jessie.
it going, guys?
Long time no see. You just got off a recording.
Yeah, we're doing it again, but last one went good, so let's keep it going.
Yeah, we'll just get right into it, and we'll go start with the first question. Cody, what do you do?
I'm currently the founder and CEO of CO Eyewear. Formerly, I was a journeyman lineman. About 15 years in the trade. Before that, I was a certified welder, and I used to fabricate and do all that stuff for hobbies way back when. But just always been a manual labor type of person. High mechanical aptitude. Schooling wasn't really my thing. I like to be outside, hands-on, building stuff. So that was where the routes I went. But obviously, along the way, doing line work, definitely saw a need for my safety and sunglasses. So that was why I kind of began that whole process and started CO Eyewear, and then just I blew up from there, ramped up, and I was able to retire, I call it, from line work about 2 years ago now. And no, I'm not retired, but yeah, I work for myself, and it's awesome. It's awesome being able to just have the flexibility. Even with me and my employees, we work kind of hybrid. We come into the office sometimes and mostly work from home, try and create a good positive, comfortable, cool work culture. I worked for a lot of assholes in my day, and I don't want to be an asshole.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly, truly love what I do, and it's something new. Totally, I went from building power lines and climbing poles for a living to trying to figure out SEO and sales and prediction, but it's cool. It's a learning curve, and I'm hungry and thirsty to learn that. And we're doubling year over year, and some big utilities on board. So I'm doing something right. Not rich yet, but I'm doing something right. I'm getting there slowly.
You mentioned you saw the need. What was the exact need you saw, and when did you start? Why was that?
Yeah, so it's something we kind of talked about before, but I'll hit on it again. So when I was working, for these large companies, I worked for LADWP and I worked for Southern California Edison. They give you the company provided safety glasses, and they're the cheap couple of dollar throwaways that just scratch easy, fog up, not comfortable, not stylish. We hated to wear them. And so everyone would just wear their personals. We would wear the Oakley's electric spies that were $120 easy. And if you scratched them, you're kind of bummed or, pissed, or if you lost them. And then also in the back of your mind, if something went wrong, something you had a flash or something impacted, they weren't safety rated. So you would be liable, you would get in trouble. You could lose your job then, because you weren't wearing the actual, the company issued or rated eyewear. So that kind of bugged me always, especially with like line work. It was a very dangerous job. I was touching 16,000 volts. I have to wear gloves every day, so it kind of bugged me in the back of my head. I just saw the need for it. And it was kind of always back there bugging me. And then I finally started doing it. I literally molded the first pair with my hands with molding clay where, I was like, I wanted the Wayfarer square style with just a clear sight shield on it. And I found a manufacturer, just started kind of doing it on the side, and I developed and fully made a mold and a few pairs. And then I started wearing them to some of the Lineman Rodeos I would compete in, and I'd wear them at work every day. And I just kind of got a read on everybody, seeing if these were actually cool, if people liked them, if it would go anywhere. I talked with people that worked for big safety companies, big utility and part suppliers, like, hey, would this ever be a thing? I kind of got a lot of feedback from the industry. And after that good feedback I got, and a lot of guys liked them and wanted more of them. That was when I officially started the business and kind of started selling them. And then it started, kind of started snowballing. Yeah, it took a lot of like trial and error and learning. I had to, I went through a manufacturer. My original manufacturer kind of like wasn't the best, so I had to find a better manufacturer. And then it's just kind of a learning curves of business. But yeah, I saw a need in it, and based on how many customers we got, it was my intuition. It was true. It was what I thought worked out. So now getting big, large utilities, because originally I was just trying to go after bigger, large utilities, big B2B. I wasn't really thinking retail side of it. But then the retail side does so good, so well.
Yeah.
And especially with, with I'm kind of my customer, I was out in the field. My first couple ad videos were just me up in the bucket or me with my coworkers, my pull partners, and my guys on my crew. I'd be like, hey, we got to film, the content was so organic and it worked. It wasn't professional. If I tried to do something professional, the professional stuff wouldn't work, but the organic stuff would really work. So that's why I think also I was relatable to a lot of the people like me. I was out there every day, still showing up to work and in the field every single day doing these things. I don't know of any other company, a glasses company that owned by a lineman, kind of started and founded in the field. But I think that's part of my success. Even to this day, when I develop new pairs, I give them to my buddies. Hey, try these ones out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if these fog up. Hey, do this. Do we need to do that? So it's really great trial and error. I'm not just a company, just a big corporate company making something, just trying to chase the profit. I'm trying to make something that people are going to want to wear.
Yeah. Well, this is a huge benefit to working in trades, and really, I mean, any industry, but it's trades especially, because if you are forward thinking and you're looking for gaps in your market, you can, use your skills and insert yourself there like you have, and you created this product that people are going to need and use. And you can even go so far as like you see a gap in services that you do and start a business offering services that are kind of along what you do normally. But you saw a need for a product that a lot of people use, and a lot of people don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on safety glasses and end up just scratching them up, because they all get scratched up at some point, or losing them or breaking them. And an affordable piece of safety wear is crucial for blue collar guys. There's really not any out there either.
Yeah, affordability was a big thing with me. I grew up poor. If I lost hundred and some dollar pair of glasses, like it ruins my day. It ruins my weekend. Now, if I lose a $30 pair, not so bad. And I like to have. I'm also one of the people. I want a pair at home. I want a pair in the work truck. I want a pair in the personal truck. I just kind of want a pair.
Yeah.
I'm all about like planning ahead. So I literally keep it. Obviously, I have a lot of pairs now, but I keep a pair like in my travel backpack, in my suitcase, just stays there. So I never run the risk or chance of ever forgetting glasses on a trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys ever thought about, you've seen the Ray-Ban Metas out there? Have you
Yeah.
seen those? I
Yeah.
wonder how hard it would be to get into that product
So
and
there's
have glasses with cameras.
so I've researched it a little bit, and there's a lot of companies out there that will make a camera, because I always thought it'd be cool, especially like like all of us, we have pride in our craft and our trade. We like to show it off. I like taking pictures or videos. I'm up there like when I'd be doing some cool pole hot intersetting or crane set. I get my phone out, I record it. I think that's cool. I'm proud of what I would do. So I'm sure you're the same. So it'd be kind of cool to be able to not have to pull your phone out and be first person and be able to just like, hey, touch a button and let me at least get a little clip or whatever. The biggest thing is the tech isn't there yet to just make them slimline enough to make it where the glasses are really going to be, you're going to wear them every day, day to day, kind of like everyone I know that I've talked to that has the Meta glasses, really kind of cool, but they're not there for the most part. They're not their day to day operation, or you're not, $400 pair. Are you going to wear that to be, out in the heat and the sun, humping all day, sweating, so I think it would be cool to have the camera option in there to get it. Could be something down the line. But as far as right now, I'm just trying to keep them affordable and keep them practical and realistic. That's my main thing. But it is cool where the tech is going. Another thing, well, with ours, I get them just because I'm a lineman. We get our glasses are dielectrically and induction rated as well. So anything with a camera or electronics in it wouldn't pass those tests.
I see.
But we could have a separate pair. But yeah, but no, it's kind of definitely cool what they're doing. Especially with where content creation and social media and all that's going.
You
I say,
mentioned not wanting to bring them to work. I take mine to work and beat them up because they're for content at work. So I feel bad, but it just makes me be more careful with them, so I'm not beating them up. So
not me,
Yeah.
dude. Nope, mine are scratched to hell. As much as cool as it is, I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, Code. It's like it's nice to have a pair of glasses. That's nice. It's $30, $40 instead. Dude,
Yeah.
how long is?
I like
Go ahead. Oh no, you're good.
I
I was
like
just gonna
having
ask.
different options.
Yeah, yeah.
Different that damn delay, it's getting us. No, I like having different options, too. I've always liked kind of like I like design. I like interior design. I like different hats, different this, different that. It's nice to have a different mix of that every now and then. Like, do you wear the same
Mhm.
hat day in, day out? No, you like to mix it up. Throw different shades on. It's kind of cool to have different shapes, shades, so that's why we're trying to offer a bunch of different variants and different options.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like I look at glasses kind of like shoes. You don't just have one brand of shoe, one style of shoe. You have a few different brands, and that's fine. You should do that with your glasses as well. Have a few different brands and a few different options and styles. But we want to be that one because you probably do have that one pair of shoes that you probably wear 80% of the time. And for me,
Mhm.
that's Converse. I don't have to wear boots anymore. But yeah, we want to be that. We want to be that pair of shades that you wear 80% of the time that can kind of do everything. And you can kind of wear them to the gym. You can kind of wear them out at lunch. You can kind of, that's what
Mhm.
what I'm shooting for with us, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you nailed that because I wear mine everywhere, so that's dope. I wanted to ask you, how long from the time that like you decided to mold that pair to the time that you decided to go full time? What was that time period?
Probably around 2 years ish. Because I mean, it's
Mhm.
slow going. But
Yeah.
It's slow going at first, especially because it's all your own money out of your pocket. And then I was working 80 or 100-hour work weeks. I worked in the South Bay yard for Edison, and it's the busiest yard. That's where all the OT whores are at. And I was humping away. I was working a bunch. I was always tired.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was probably about around 2 years of like the trial phase, and then 2019 it was when I actually right in the beginning of 2019 was when I got serious, started the company.
Mhm.
And then we started selling just before the big incident that happened in 2020. I don't know. I can't say the word. Starts with a C. But, uh, but yeah, that threw a wrench into everything. The usual.
Yeah.
But no, as I was saying before, the uh, the sales kept getting great. The content was working good because of it was organic, and I think the definite need for it was out there, and it just started going. We're doubling year over year. I never took on any investments. I've gotten offered a lot of investors. People want to buy out portions of the business or take over the business and stuff like that. You get inquiries a lot. Who knows how
Mhm.
many are serious, but there's definitely loans or stuff like that. I 100% financed it and we have zero debt just because I hate debt. But I could have grew quicker, I guess, if I would have
Mhm.
taken on investors. But I like having control and I like growing at the right pace and not making mistakes. In the beginning, I had to grow through the growing pains of a business. And I
Mhm.
did go through I made, a lot of issues, just like in life. It's how you deal with problems is how successful you're going to be.
Mhm.
Problems are going to rise no matter what. And if you let them beat you up and destroy you, they're going to win. If you just, you take a step back and you just try and figure it out, do whatever you got to do and get through those issues. To me, that's just like, that's in every
Yeah.
every aspect of life, whether it's in a
Yeah.
relationship or at work, injury. You know what I mean? Like injuries are going to happen. Let's deal with it. Let's figure it out. Do we need surgery? Do we need to do PRP injections? Do we need to do it's like, it is what it is. Like, let's deal with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a lot of cool growing pains, but awesome. I mean, where eventually it got so busy, like I don't know if I said it before, but coming from 24s, I'd be dead tired fulfilling orders in my garage. My girlfriend would drop them off at the post office on the way to work, and then I was eventually making enough money where and I also got a large utility, so it kind of was like, also knowing like, okay, that my glasses got into a large
Yeah.
utility, this should be somewhat of a guaranteed paycheck. I
Mhm.
finally decided 2 years ago to go all in and retire from line work, and I haven't looked back. It's especially like I'm a dad. I have almost 3-year-old twin daughters, and I used to work with so many dads that were just overtime whores. They were just married to the OT, just never see their kids. They don't get to wake up their kids. They don't get to go to their kids' baseball games. They don't get to put their kids to sleep. And that was a big thing with me. I kind of, I waited a longer in life to have kids, but I just said I don't want to be that dad where I'm just absentee and I'm just at work all the time. I want my kids to kind of know me. And so yeah, that's an awesome thing about being my own boss and working remote or hybrid is that I get to wake up my kids every morning. I get to put them to bed every night. And waking them up, as not manly as it sounds, like there's no greater joy, like as a father, like waking up with your kids in the morning, like to see how like that smile on their face and how bright eyed and like happy they are. It's cool. And if I was in line work, I would be leaving the house at 4:30. I would never get to experience that, So that's kind of, we're not, I'm not rich with money yet, but I am rich with like the joys of life, And the money part is coming. We are doubling year over year in revenue, and I'm expanding and hiring more people. And I mean, the amount of the orders I'm putting in these days, I never thought I would have put these order sizes in. It's pretty crazy, pretty cool.
Well,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to hear your story because it honestly mirrors Montana Knife Company's pretty close. Do you know of Montana Knife Company? They make like custom knives up in Montana, obviously. They did kind of the same thing around the same time. He was doing similar stuff out of his garage, making these knives and sending them out. Just kind of grew and scaled from there. And I think he actually was also a lineman, if I'm not mistaken. He grew it debt-free and all of that type of stuff. So it's cool to see that from people in industries like this, that you're able to do this type of stuff. And it's not, our industries aren't full of a bunch of dummies, like people that aren't smart. Like a lot of people have misconceptions about people in the trades. So it's really cool to talk to people, like you that have taken like a product like this to the market and have done really well with it to the point that you've retired from your lineman job, essentially.
Yeah. No, I love hearing about other guys like me that, worked, a blue collar trade and thought of something and did it and was able to break free, of the 9 to 5 grind and do their own thing. Yeah, I got a buddy who does it. He did it with a contracting thing. I hear about other stories about guys doing it with fitness stuff. And anytime there's a guy that came from the field and broke off and started his own side hustle, the side hustle became the main hustle. Like I'm just like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
The bad thing for Jesse is his side hustle probably won't be able to come the main hustle because it's all based off work. You gotta work.
Yeah, you need to be able to make the content. Yeah.
Handcuff myself there.
Yeah, there's cool people out there. Jesse's told me about this couple that has did tile or bathroom remodels, I think is what you said, and then they just set up studios in their garage, and now they just make money off content, and they just set up this whole bathroom, take videos of the whole thing, and then just demo it when they're done, and that's how they make their money. That's crazy. It's crazy right now.
They should just give somebody a free bathroom remodel then, instead of having
right.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be good content too.
Yeah, that'd be dope. But yeah, it's wild, dude. The fact that they can we don't need to be in the field anymore. We'll just make videos about it. That's crazy. Which I'm gonna use a transition to my next question. What point did you start involving social media and people like me per se into your business? When did you make that decision?
So I wanted creators or other people, obviously from the beginning, but I'm not great at social media, and I'm not, it feels a little strange, trying to reach out to people and ask for stuff. And so that's tough at first, But it was really when I think when I really started growing is when I, actually brought on an employee, my social media manager, Clara, to kind of, hit the ground running with that. We utilize the right platforms for affiliate programs and all that stuff. We can look at analytics. There's so much behind it too that I didn't even know. I was cold reaching out before. Just figure, hey, this guy, work great. This guy works in the field and has a cool active lifestyle. Hard worker. I always love the hustlers, the hard workers. I'm big into fitness. I like people that work out too, kind of take care of themselves. I'm attracted, I like driven people.
Hmm.
So like anytime like that. But unfortunately, the harsh reality of it is like people just don't respond. Like 90% of people, you just try and
Yeah.
reach out, just like people don't respond. They don't care. They're just like, yeah, whatever. You're just like, all
Yeah.
right, cool, I guess.
Like,
Well,
screw
you
me.
got to
Screw
find the
me.
right people because, some people would love to get that invitation
Yeah.
from you. And some people,
Hmm.
honestly, some people probably think it's fake or scammy because there are a bunch of scammy type stuff out there. But yeah, some people don't
Yeah.
want to turn their social media into, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. People are just weird that way. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe they never see the message either. So,
It's kind of like, the quantity thing. Like, when I used to go out when I was younger, my dad would say, like, talking to chicks, it's just kind of like you got to cast out or
yeah.
else you're not going to catch anything. You got to at least try. So, whatever. The worst thing they do is say no or just not respond. So,
Yeah.
True.
whatever. And
Yeah.
but we definitely, like, if we partner or work with anybody, like whatever we can do to help them grow and hustle, whatever. We have a studio with a psych wall and everything, and we open up to like anyone locally. Like we bring in models and we're like, hey, do you want some photos of yourself? Do you ever want to use this? My buddy, I'm just like, yeah, use the space, do whatever. I just love seeing people grow, and we got a little a hustler on the team right now, Thomas Herman. He's a professional wakeboarder, but he's
Hmm.
just a great cat. He's driven. He's just like good spirits. He's positive, man. He's gonna go places. When we got him on the team, I told him, I said, we won't be able to afford you pretty soon. This guy's gonna be a stud. He's gonna be a star. He's
Yeah.
just driven, has a positive attitude, and he's only 22 years old. I mean,
Hell yeah.
it's especially with how social media is these days,
Hmm.
anything's possible as long as you put your mind to it. So
Yeah.
I think
100%.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is super cool nowadays. It's lots of opportunity out there, and it really opens up avenues for like a side hustle, like Jesse and both of us,
Hmm.
all of us were doing. And side hustles can turn into full-time gigs, or just you can make a lot of money essentially on the side and save your money. And if you're good with your money, you can be better off. It's cool time right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, I'm all about like a couple different, revenue streams, like I think that's
Hmm.
great, especially for, save now, act like you don't have it, get a couple revenue streams, and before you know it, when you're getting ready to retire, you're set up.
Hmm.
yeah, how So you said before you did welding, but like when you were younger. So you've jumped around a couple different trades. Is that all
Yeah.
you've done is welding and a lineman?
So if we go way back, when I was cutting lawns when I was a kid. No, I won't go for that far back. But in high school, I started my own company. I was really big into like off-roading, and so I started my own business where I would install lifts on trucks because I loved wrenching on trucks. And so I'd install lifts or exhaust systems. The full exhaust system was like $400 or $500, but I could get the Flowmaster, just the muffler, for $80, and I could get a
Hmm.
tip for $20, and I would charge like $40 install. So like for under $150, they could have an exhaust system that sounds exactly the same. Because so I was doing a bunch of exhausts. I was installing grills, lights, basic roll cages. And that was where I kind of started to fabricate and, learn welding and this. And I was like, I really like welding, because it was a hobby. And so I took some night classes and I eventually got a few certificates. And so I went to work doing it and for a few years, and it was good money. But the whole time, my dad was kind of like, "Hey, you should get into line work, different." And he's like, "All right, whatever." Didn't push me. He's like, "It's a good job." And I
Hmm.
went to work with him a few times when I was younger. Got to drive the auger and run the digger truck and different stuff. But I was just kind of like, I don't want to do what Dad does. And and so I tried my own avenue, and then by the time I was 22, I was like, I kind of looked at myself in the mirror, and I was just breathing in all that smoke, welding all day, and my
Hmm.
eyes were always hurting looking through the mask and everything, and I was like, I don't want to do this my whole life. Like I just kind of like I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I got to do whatever I got to do, and I got to try something else. And
Hmm.
I kind of talked it out with my dad, and he was like, well, he's like, give line work a shot.
Hmm.
And so I did whatever I had to do, and luckily enough, I was able to, get into that fairly quick, just being a squeaky wheel that gets the grease. And yeah, that was where I broke off into line work in my early 20s.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of that work set you up to where you are right now, and you made good money doing line work, and you said you saved all your money and you cash flowed your business. I mean, how much did your work experience before shape the way that you even made the glasses? Because you said you made, I don't remember if you mentioned on this podcast or not, that you made glasses that were specifically for line work, that were, what did you call that?
They're dielectrically and induction rated.
Yeah. And so that was obviously something that you took from your other job and improved, or I mean, introduced, and I'm sure you improved on stuff that was out there. How much did all of your work experience shape the way that you're running this business right now, and the way you started this business?
Yeah, so I mean, work experience, a big thing with line work is it's very thought about, it's like fail to plan to fail. So you're kind of like, we prep. Everything is about prep with line work. We have an outage the next day. We're doing prep. We're framing the pole. We're getting our height and our measurements. We're doing all of our drilling ahead of time. Like everything is about planning ahead. So not only like did that projected into my life with everything. My girlfriend hates how organized or planned out I am with everything. Like I literally will like lay out the bags in the right orientation, and I'll leave some, in the cooler like this, and everything is very thought out because that's how line work is. It's very like one tool, one time. You pull out your pair of, what we call clients, or some people will call them wire cutters. You're going to cut all your wires at one time, and then you're going to put it away, and you can pull out your knife. You're going to only pull out your knife one time. So you have that knife in your hand. You're going to skin all your wires one time. And because it's all about being efficient in line work. So it's one tool, one time. So stuff like that really, transcends into life and into this business. I try and keep everything very structured. I try and have a plan for everything. I try and document everything. So yeah, it definitely, what I learned in my previous trade came forward with this one. And then with, as far as the electrical and induction rated stuff, that was just me being a lineman. We'd be up in the bucket, and if you get hit by induction, so it's kind of like, you rub your feet on the carpet and you go and touch the door handle, the little static electricity. That's kind of like induction. If you have a big metal wrench in your bucket and you're up there working, you'll lean, and sometimes you'll lean against that metal wrench and boom, it'll get you, and you'll be all right, and it bites you because it gets induction. It's just anywhere near the high voltage, it just starts conducting electricity. So you don't want anything on you. Like we don't wear rings, we don't wear necklaces, we don't wear anything like that because of the harm of induction.
So that obviously rules out a lot of glasses out there then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, a lot of them will have steel cores on them. So that was just a big thing, is you don't want anything, and if you're wearing anything with induction, like when it rains and you get wet and we're up there working the primary and we're touching it, it starts getting really itchy. Like because it's tracking on you. So you're actually becoming part of the electricity. So those are definitely things. I didn't want anything like itchy, scratchy, whatever, and it's just another safety factor. And who else is doing that? Nobody else is doing that. So it's just like for a job application, you can check a college degree, a CPR AED certified. That's kind of like how this is for us.
Yeah. Well, so I'm assuming it's safe to say that without all of this trade experience, what you're doing right now would just have almost no base to it. Like you probably wouldn't have even come across this CO Eyewear idea had you gone down a different route, had you, not become a lineman, whatever it was. It's probably all of this experience leading up to now that's pretty much shaped your entire company and the opportunity that you have.
Yeah. Obviously, I wouldn't have saw the need for it, and I wouldn't have been able to make such a relatable product, I guess.
Yeah. So, I like to talk about a lot how blue collar work has a lot of opportunity in it, and there's a lot of people that act like it doesn't. Here's a prime example of being able to think opportunity minded and be like, essentially, opportunity minded, and look for stuff. And that's what it takes. It takes being able to look for something. There's a gap in this market. And with that being said, I think there is a ton of opportunity in blue collar work, in trade work. So If you were to tell someone to go be a lineman, is that something you would recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I personally loved it. I miss it sometimes. I still miss taking call outs and working trouble work. It was a great job. I loved it. It was hard to give up. Definitely in the camaraderie, like you're on a crew, average crew size is about 5 guys, 4 to 6. And you're with those guys more than you're with your family. So you get really close. They're just great for the most part. There's some guys obviously you don't want to work with, but for the most part, we all had a blast. We'd have so much fun at work, and we'd be around each other for 24 hours at a time. Sometimes we'll go out on storm, and you're 24 and 8, so you're working 24 on, 8 off, 24 on, 8 off. And so there's just a lot of inside jokes, a lot of camaraderie. And it's a trade that keeps you interested. It's not like you learn the basics and then it's stagnant and steady and the same. Every single day is something new, is something different. Oh, this pole is here, we're intersetting here. This one's on a property line, it's triple circuit. This one we have to do this. So you're constantly being challenged mentally, and it's constantly a different environment, and so there's nothing stagnant about it. And and if you like it and excel and take pride in it, you get thrown new challenges all the time. So it's pretty cool. And not to mention the pay is pretty great. I mean, not trying to like flex or whatever, but 300 a year is no problem, especially here in Southern California. Different places and different, the pay is different. But yeah, I mean, 2 years ago when I retired, there was a lineman that did over 700. Like he was an overtime whore, and great benefits, great retirement. There's just tons of benefits to it. But yeah, I like I said, I did 300, and I think I maybe worked 1 or 2 Saturdays. I didn't work any weekends doing that.
Damn.
Yeah, because I could adjust my hours accordingly. I worked in a cool yard, so I can work up to 16 hours during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I pushed a crew for 2 years, and when I had my own crew, I can adjust my hours. So I'd come in at 6 and I'd stay and work till about 7 and wait out traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're working emergency. If we're working emergency, then we'll work a 24. But yeah, that's what's kind of cool. But then it also on the side of it, if you don't want to be an overtime whore and you want to, you just want to do your straight 8 out the gate, you can go to different yards or utilities that do that. So you're still making good money, and you can be a total family man. You don't have to. And there's also different avenues too, where you don't always have to be in the field. There's a lot of jobs. Once you've gained the knowledge, you can go inside to like the planning aspect of it. If you don't want to stay out in the field forever, or you're broke down or something, like stuff like that. So that's what's kind of cool, is that it does open up other job opportunities.
That's what people a lot of times don't see, is like the routes you can take. When you're in blue collar, it's like nobody's saying you need to go be a lineman essentially and be a lineman for 40 years, like be out working the emergency calls and doing all that stuff for that long. You don't have to do that. And if you don't want to, you especially don't have to. And it's super important right there, what you said, where you can actually do 8-hour shifts and be at home, because a lot of people think that everybody in trade work is just like constantly grinding and constantly working and never at home, and oh yeah, you make all the money but you're gone all the time. Now, there's people that make great money and are at home to spend time with their family, and that's important to me too, as we just had a baby last year, and it puts into perspective. Don't really want to be at work that often because it's time I don't get to spend at home, seeing my kid grow up. I couldn't imagine working, those long shifts like you said you were doing with a 1-year-old or something like that. I feel like you'd miss out on their whole life.
Yeah, no, I saw plenty of dads, just missing their kids' games, all this, and they got acclimated to it, so they're, whatever, and maybe that's fine with them. I just didn't want to be that dad.
Yeah.
Got a random one. Well, maybe it's random. When you transition from doing things like, you're working 24 hours a day, 8 off, or working 16 hours a day, to the business and stuff, did you ever like struggle with, like, you feel like you weren't doing anything, or like maybe not like feeling like you're working, like, because you're not out there doing physical labor where you're just grinding, right? Did you ever like have those days where you're like, oh, I don't feel like I'm doing anything, but you're still pushing toward this? Like, how did that
Every day
transition go?
still.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah, every day. Like I'll literally sometimes I'll have to just fulfill an order or two just to get that itch out, you know. Like I'll
Yeah.
pack it, pack an order, or I'll come and I'll build some shell beam, even though it's
Hmm.
not like very smart use of time. You know, it
Hmm.
becomes like a lot of tasks in business, and it's tough for a lot of people to let go. But you kind of have to see, like, I had to give up fulfilling all the orders, even though I can do it pretty fast and pretty easy. But that's like an
Hmm.
entry level position. That's a low paid position. If you want to see yourself as the CEO or, a president of a company, you need to act at that, and you need to
Hmm.
hire people, when you get the opportunity to afford it, you need to hire people to do those smaller roles so that you can be the boss essentially. But yeah, no, it's getting my
Hmm.
hands dirty. Luckily, I have some rental properties and I have some other
Hmm.
projects where I can still wrench on stuff and I can still make my back hurt and my shoulders, or
Okay.
my knees are killing me. Last summer I did a full remodel on one of the rentals. This summer I did a bathroom, so I still
Yeah.
have plenty of side work to keep me busy. But yeah, I
Uh,
definitely miss the physical aspect of it. And sitting in a chair too long, like I just get spun. Like after I can maybe do about 3, 4 hours max, and then I'll
hmm.
literally just go walk around the neighborhood real quick because I got to get up and go.
Hmm.
That's what I've never understood about people that want to sign up to sit at a desk all day, every day. I mean, I'd go crazy. I mean, a lot of times during the podcast, I'm sitting here moving back and forth and stuff
Same.
because I'm used to being busy work, and so I actually had that same question too. How is it transitioning to essentially being a desk job? You know, compared to what you were doing before.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's the good part about it is like I can plan my day accordingly, and so
Hmm.
like I kind of work in spurts, like
Hmm.
or we'll plan it. We're like, okay, we'll have a photo shoot this day at this location, so we'll show up there. Today was a little different. I'm an early riser. I go out, I work out first thing in the morning before my kids get up, and then it's kid stuff, and then it's work for like 3, 4 hours steady, and then I might go jump in the cold plunge or in the ocean, and then I have to do like I'm always just going and mixing it up. Yeah, I typically don't stay to like a standard schedule. I'm not just sitting from 9 to 5. I'm always trying to mix it up and do different stuff. I'll meet with a customer, or meet with a big utility. I'll work at convention. There's always different stuff, which that's why I like it. I don't like stagnant. I don't like the same stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'd say the worst part is sitting at the computer for a couple hours sometimes. Sometimes there is stuff you have to. You got to do what you got to do, and I don't want to
Hmm.
do these spreadsheets and implement these SKUs into the new software, but I got to suck it up and do it. Over the weekend, I had to do it. I had to redo a bunch of RX SKUs and this and that, and it's part of it. Yeah, sometimes you got to do stuff you don't want to do. I'll just put my nose down, grind, get it done with. And the cool part about, being my own boss is like typically at night, like I put the girls down to sleep at 8:30, I go back and work. Then once I put them to
Hmm.
bed, and I just played with them for the last couple of hours. I pick them up from school around 5. So from 5 to 8:30, it's like full blown dad time. And man, that'll wear you out physically and mentally. So then it's nice getting a break and to sit at the computer. And then I work for a few more hours sometimes. That's what's really cool about being your own boss is I can just kind of work at my own leisure or freedom most of the time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Where does your product development fit into there? A lot of times, are you doing that right now? Or like, how are you finding new ideas for glasses and stuff?
Yeah, so it's mostly just talking to the guys, seeing what they request, or, what the needs are. Obviously, everybody has a different face size, head size, nose shape. They want a different look, so it's trying to please everybody is tough. And I'm not trying to please everybody, but we're trying to come up with as many different styles, shapes, so that we can accommodate close to everybody, especially when we're selling on the B2B side. Everybody wants a little bit different options for different people. So yeah, we're slowly releasing more. Pretty excited. We have a pair coming out pretty soon because we've been getting a lot of requests for people that do helicopter work. So with helicopter work, a lot of wind because there's a lot of like what they call long lining and line work So you hang under the helicopter. The helicopter flies you and drops you on top of towers, remote locations. So with
Hmm.
regular glasses, you're getting a lot of wind still passing by the eyes. So we're doing a foam gasket pair of glasses where it has a clip-in foam gasket, so it'll seal up more, so you can use it for helicopter work or high wind. And it's a
Cool.
one-piece wraparound lens, and then we're also having RX inserts, so you can still, with RX guys can take their RX and clip it on the inside of it and still wear it. So it's essentially kind of like goggles without the annoyance of a giant, huge, heavy goggles. If that makes sense.
Hmm. That's
Interesting.
dope.
How many requests have you been getting for that?
That
That's
was it
crazy.
was one of the, I had always kind of known about it, kind of wanted to do it a little bit. There's some companies that do it out there already,
Okay.
but they're not very comfortable or stylish, I guess. But yeah, we had
Hmm.
one of our large utilities was really requesting it. They're like, "Hey, we need this, we need this, we need this." So I've been working on it for like close to 2 years, just because I wanted to get it right. I wanted to make sure the fit was there, the comfort was there, the seal was there. We weren't obstructing vision or anything like that. So it takes a while to go from the drawing phase, and you think you have it right, and then we 3D print our glasses, like the CAD drawing, and that whole process takes a while. By the time we get that, that's like a rough example of what the glasses kind of actually are. And if you want to make a change, then it's back to the drawing board, back to the process of the 3D printer and the CAD drawing. So there's a lot of back and forth. And then you actually get to the mold process. Once you make that mold, then you actually get the actual material, the actual glasses. That sample comes to you. And unfortunately, did it happen? It came to me, and what I thought wasn't correct, because a 3D print is kind of stiff. It's not exactly what the actual product. So sometimes you got to go back and redo the mold. It just kind of is what it is. It's
Hmm.
so yeah. That's why this certain pair took so long to do. But I wanted to get it right. Good things come with time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Break.
another question. That was
Yeah.
another question I had about that, because I was like, how many people would request that? But also, I mean, there can't be that many people that are doing it that well. Having connections to all of the trades for specific glasses is probably pretty cool. And these utility contracts you have are probably pretty big, right? Probably a big part of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
business.
yeah. They're good size. Obviously, when you're selling on like the wholesale side of it, you're not making as much money, and there's a lot of competition out there. So you really have to mark down your prices. But it's good,
Hmm.
steady work, and it's awesome knowing. Like I miss doing line work, and I'll drive by crews working all the time. And I'm bummed I can't be up there, but at least like my glasses are up there, doing some of the work. So at least I'm helping out a little bit still, I guess.
You said your lineman ticket's still good. How long does that go for?
As long as I keep paying my union dues.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's as long as you're in good standing with the Hull, and then I also keep my Class A. So every 2 years I got to go get my physical for my Class A. So I keep my Class A current, and then yeah, I just have to pay. I think for the year my dues are like 560, pays the whole year. But the good part about it is like I almost thought about signing the books and going to work when the fires hit. Go
Hmm.
work for a month, crush it, make a bunch of money, and then
Yeah.
but I didn't do it. But yeah, it's no, I've made a lot of great connections and line work. And so if I want to go work for the contractors, even on the inside or planning side of it, I know that part of it as well. I know how to plan the outages, right? Switching procedures, order the material, order the cranes, put in the FAA notice. I know how to do all that stuff as well. So yeah, I could totally get a job. I also, when I worked at DWP, I left my pension in there. I could apply and go back there at the same tier. So yeah, like I left a lot of like doors open. I'm very thought out. I wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna just fully gamble and leave it, because when I quit my I had my twins were 4 months old. So you got to
Mm.
kind of think like, hey, like I thought to myself, like I got 4-month-old twins at home, and I'm giving up my badass job with badass benefits to risk it all on a dream.
Hmm. Dang,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'll look back at that and be like, yeah, I guess like, hopefully I'll look back and be like, that was the best decision I ever made. So far it is, or I'm a
Hmm.
complete idiot. But no, the good part about like with the ticket, I can go right back to, it doesn't pan out. something horrible happens, then yeah, I can go back to work, but I don't plan on it. I plan on crushing it. Like I'm going to keep growing this business, no matter how many haters are out there, cause I'm sure you guys see it with social media,
Mm-hmm.
like there's so many low life losers with nothing better to do,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
also that's kind of fuel and that's reassurance you're doing something right. Every time, like when it gets slow and I'm not getting haters, I'm like, uh-oh, something's not right. When sales are good, we get a lot of haters, I
Yeah.
noticed that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think where you've been chasing your like what you were saying, time at home, and you're almost chasing more happiness essentially than just the dollar. And you're trying
Yeah.
to take your business, you're not trying to just like make a quick buck off your business either. You're trying to build something that's going to last. I think you can do that really easily because you have so many options right now. And it's like, what's the worst that could happen? Your business, doesn't succeed. You can go jump in, be a lineman. You can go just about in any part in that business and do just as fine. So when you have all those options, because you have all of the skills built up, it makes it pretty easy to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna gamble on myself and be able to do what I want with my time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's, um, it's like a kind of like a woodworker, right? Like once you've crafted that trade and you're really good at it, like you built up that value, you can charge that value. Like you built up
Mm-hmm.
those years of experience. You know, so yeah, it definitely to me, like I consider the journeyman tickets kind of like, like you go to school to be a doctor and yet you're a doctor now. Like it's like you put all that investment and that money into it. And it's just that's with any trade, I think. You put all the investment, the time, and the skill, you've acquired that skill. So that's kind of like, reassurance.
We talked about the other day, one of our last, or I think it was our last podcast, we talked about building a career in the trades. And part of that is
Mm-hmm.
building a reputation. And you've probably got a reputation now that's also going to carry you through and has probably helped with your contracts that you've gotten and stuff. Like your personal skill and reputation has pulled you through there. I'm assuming at least. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I believe I made a good name for myself in line work. So I did my apprenticeship at LEDWP, and when I topped out, I quit. I drug, and I went back to
Mm-hmm.
Edison because I was originally a growman at Edison, a helper for 2.5 years, but they froze the apprenticeship. I went to DWP to do the apprenticeship, and I took my apprenticeship very seriously. I did really well, I think. And so some of the managers they were fairly disappointed that I left, especially right away. So,
Mm-hmm.
so there are some bitter guys out there, but I had to do what was best for me.
maybe
Yeah.
they're fueling all your haters, those guys.
But those managers are all retired now, and all the guys that I worked with and day in and day out and showed them that I cared and was a hustler and a grinder, they're now the managers or the bosses. So I'm still trying to get in at LADWP, but
Mm-hmm.
not there yet. We're almost there. We're trying. I keep on like just trying to be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease.
Mm-hmm.
But the municipalities, they're just really, really budget conscious. They just want the cheapest thing possible. And
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to wean them off that. We're trying to bridge the gap between helping guys be compliant and wear some rated eyewear. Hopefully get there soon.
Jesse, I don't know if you have anything else to add. I've got maybe one or two more questions.
I can't let you go without asking what a lineman rodeo is because that's been stuck in my brain.
That is one of the things written down right here, so I want to know too.
Like I can't let him sign off without knowing what this is.
Yeah, so almost every company or union will put on a lineman's rodeo. So pretty much it's a couple different events or tasks where you simulate like real work experience, but they're timed. And so your team will you'll race up a pole and you have to change out a cross arm or a transformer or simulate just like a work event. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to also, so it's timed, but then you also have to do it clean. You can't drop anything. You can't like cut out of the pole. You have to follow the rules exactly. So it's
Mm-hmm.
more or less like, it's smooth as fast. So you got to be smooth, so you can't if you get any deduction, then
Mm-hmm.
you're screwed, so it goes by going clean and then going by time. And then there's 4 different events each rodeo. So it's just kind of
Cool.
something, a way to show off like just pride in the craft,
Sure.
pride in the trade. Pretty cool. And
Sure.
it's
Okay.
camaraderie. It's almost like a company picnic for linemen.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like masonry has a bricklayer 500 where it's like who can lay the most brick in an hour or like that. And same thing. If you get deductions, you miss count and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, same
That's
exact
word.
thing. Different utilities will throw different rodeos, and you'll actually travel. So the union used to
Yeah.
send me and my team to like a couple different states here or there, and then every year in Kansas City is the international, and you'll get like 300 teams, people from different countries, and it's huge. It's like a
Cool.
3-day event. So yeah, it was always cool. They'd pay me to go, so I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, this is awesome.
That's dope. That's way cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks for letting me ask that one before we let you go.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
well, everyone always thinks anytime I say rodeo, like, oh, you ride bulls? And I go, I'm like, no.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, why would it be called a lineman rodeo? What were they doing?
They've
So
got Cody in the bucket, like he's harnessed in, how long he can stay in.
Yeah, whip me around. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
so
funny.
one of my last questions was, what is the craziest job site story that you have? And lineman rodeo is pretty crazy, but pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories. I think the craziest one that came to mind was wasn't the best one. One of my buddies got flashed. He got burned, but it just sticks in your brain, like.
Mm-hmm.
So that one comes to mind. It's not a great story, but luckily, he only had a couple second degree burns. I mean, he was okay, but it was definitely an eye opener and all that stuff. So that one comes to mind. Quick version of it: it was a big outage. We were doing a reconductor on multiple poles. They were going to initiate, like start the outage in the center pole. I was one pole down up in the bucket at the secondary level, waiting for them to start the outage. Once they started the outage, we were going to go to town. As they were positioning, one of the ropes in their bucket got caught on a pothead, and it pretty much got caught on a piece of wire and drew a big arc right in their face. And when you hear it, 16,000 volts go phase to ground, it's really loud. It's a big bop. So I heard it, look over, and you just see a ball of fire in their arms and flailing and everything.
Mm.
You definitely remember, you remember that. You punched it down to the ground in the bucket, ran over there. By the time I got over there, your bucket control getting them down. As soon as they got down, ripped them out of the bucket, burned gel. They were conscious, they were all right, but my
Mm-hmm.
buddy had a big old sweet mustache. His mustache was gone.
Dang.
And they're all black, and luckily they got really lucky. Like I said, a few second degree burns, but we ripped them out as quick as we could. Burn gel, hospital, and we got really lucky. But that's just one that sticks in my head as a crazy. It was a crazy night.
Yeah.
I think it was a midnight outage. So it was right around midnight. We had worked all day, and we were planning. It was a Friday night. The Friday night outages, we used to do them all the time and get them done early. Go home and start your weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was scary one, but luckily we were all okay.
That's crazy.
That's hard to imagine, dealing with something like that on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll end this with a lighter question then. What's your favorite thing about what you do, maybe even what you did as a lineman, and you have any advice for people trying to either do what you do or get into, the lineman trade? So kind of a two-part.
There's a lot of parts in there.
Yeah. Well, pick which one you want, because there's a lot that you do.
So I guess that my favorite thing now is I can kind of do as I have my own freedom. I don't have to listen to anybody anymore. So it's really nice when when we went through COVID, what were they doing? They were telling you to wear a mask. They're telling you to take a jab. They were telling you to do this, telling you to do that. It's nice to have the freedoms and not be like told what to do. Nobody wants to be told what to do, really. Like.
Yeah.
So yeah, so obviously being self-employed, it's really nice having the freedom to do what I want.
Mm.
Remote this weekend, I'll work remote this weekend. So that's what's really cool about that. It's one of my favorite things. But as far as like line work, like the camaraderie, you gotta like what you do, because if you're at work, you see the guys at work more than you see your family. If your work life sucks, your family life is gonna suck as well. So you gotta really like what you do and enjoy hanging out with your coworkers and everything, because if you're happy at work, you should be happy at home, because if you're miserable at work, you're going to come home and be miserable at home as well. So it goes full circle, you got to be happy at home, be happy at work. But yeah, but definitely just enjoy your job, like life's short, enjoy what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, Cody.
Pretty much it.
We were glad to have you on. Where can people go to find you and find your products and stuff?
COEwear.com, or just check us out on Instagram, CO Eyewear, and follow us on there. We're giving updates about new product, new stuff that's going on. Just trying to post, have some good informational content on there too, as well, to help out all the other hustlers and grinders and 9-to-5ers and side jobbers and all that.
Awesome. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate you, Code. Appreciate this and everything you've done for me. Like, this has been awesome. So just want to say thanks.